Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to the Grand Chess Tour Finals in London in 2019. So after many draws now we have the rapid games, and I knew that when we faced the rapid games that many winning games will be played, and today we had again a great tactical game in the round 3 between Ding Liren versus Levon Aronian. Ding Liren won the first game, so it was now Levon Aronian's turn to be white and to face again against Ding Liren in this very nice rapid format. I really love this rapid format the most. I think if I want to watch these games, I think then we have also more mistakes but also more tactical possibilities for both sides, and that's why I think these games are the most fun to watch. So let's see what happened. Here we have with white pieces the Levon Aronian against Ding Liren. Let's see this opening. We have c4 by Levon Aronian and now knight on f6 by Ding Liren. So knight on c3 and now e5. We have sort of a reverse Sicilian setup, and now knight on f3 played by Levon Aronian, and now Ding Liren played knight on c6. This is still common theory, and really maybe the best way to face this reverse Sicilian setup or this English opening. After d3, here Ding Liren played the move d5, and of course c takes d5, knight takes on d5, and now e3. Maybe it's really not the best of ways to continue here. We are playing sort of a reverse chevening system with the continuation to play maybe something like a6, b5, but I think the most common way and the best way is to play here g3, then to go into sort of a King's Indian setup, like in those reverse Sicilian setups. We have also the possibility to face sort of a counter King's Indian setup, and this is playable for both sides. Still, this e3, it leaves you a very nice pawn central control, which is a good thing. You're restricting these 4 squares in the center, but there is this problem of this bishop on c1. You'll see how many problems Levon Aronian now will have in this continuation of the game. Here bishop on e7 played by Ding Liren, simply a calm move, and now bishop on e2, now castling, and bishop on d2 played by Levon Aronian. And although this bishop is perfectly fine, I think if you play something like bishop on e6 like Ding Liren played, you should go maybe into lines after knight on d5, bishop on d5, and at least try to improve your position of the bishop. This would be a good diagonal for the bishop, still continuing with the pawn central control. In the game after bishop on e6, here Levon Aronian plays a3, and it seems like a good move with the preparation to play b4 and create sort of a minority attack. This situation we have here 2 on 3 against black's pawns to create some weaknesses on the queen side. But there is this positional idea, which of course Ding Liren played. He played the move a5. Blocking system, very nice blocking system here on the queen side, not allowing to play the move b4. Now Levon Aronian had to play queen on c2 and prepare here this b3 move, and even maybe to castle on the queen side. But Ding Liren plays, I think, also a very nice idea. He plays knight on b6, which releases the pressure in the center a little bit, which is very important, I think, in this position, because black hasn't done anything wrong. Black has castled. Black has a very nice queen, which can attack here the d3. We have a very nice control with these two knights here on the queen side. So we have also good bishop's activity, which is the most important thing here on the queen side and also on the king side. So all of the pieces are, I think, in very nice attacking formation. And on the other hand, the problem is you cannot attack this bishop on e6 with the knight with the knight on g5. So that's why here Levon Aronian played a b3 move, which is really now similar to the chevening system, like when you play it with black. You also play sometimes this setup of b6 a6, but there is really there are these two weaknesses here. The pawn on b3 and this pawn on d3 are the main targets here for Ding Liren. In the continuation, Ding Liren simply continued f5. If you castle here on the king side immediately, then you run into a dangerous attack, because we can even play, I think, here immediately g5. It's even possible because we have now a very nice advanced pawn structure here, and we can play something like e4 if the position of course allows it. F4, g4, everything is possible. Even h5, I think it's a very good creating a very nice flank attack here, because this bishop's activity are also is also a very good thing when you have to defend your own king. So these two pieces are also used as defensive pieces around black's king, so nothing can happen here, I think, so far. These bishops, on the other hand, by white are too passive if we compare just the activities of these two bishops. So here in the game, Levon Aronian tries a reposition of the bishop on c1 in order to bring the bishop here at least on b2 and attack here somehow this dark diagonal. In the game, bishop on f6, Ding Liren sensed the situation here that of course Levon Aronian is trying to place his bishop on b2, which Levon Aronian did, but here after g5 there's no way that you should castle anymore on the king side anyway. So if you castle, I think here g4 is very dangerous. You have to play something like knight on d2, but now h5 is very dangerous. How to break this pawn storm here? I don't see a clear way to proceed here for white, so that's why here after g5 knight on d2 was played. So one of the best ways, of course, to play against pawn storms is get out of the pawn storm, maybe do a reposition. Now Levon Aronian has found a very nice square for the knight. This would be also a very nice defensive setup. If we place the knight here on c4, then we have maybe some possibilities to attack this e5 weakness. So the e5 pawn is something that maybe white will try to get to create an attack against, but here again Ding Liren plays maybe not the best of moves. There are battle lines, maybe again to force sort of a trade of knights here with d5, but bishop on g7 is good because you're keeping your pieces compact here, and you have a good defensive setup now also in front of your king. But this bishop I really like. This bishop is really a good bishop because it protects the light squares against black's king, and there's simply not a good way to open the center here with d4. With this king in the center, Levon Aronian simply isn't allowed to play something with the pawns here. So in the game, h3 played by Aronian, and now we have queen on e7. As you see, Ding Liren plays a very nice positional game. He has now connected the rooks, which is also a very important thing, and now we have g4 played by the Levon Aronian, and it's a good move, it's a good defensive move, but again, you don't have to take here. If of course takes, then we can open the h file, or we can even go and trade off maybe here this light square bishops, because this bishop is too good. Then we can maybe continue, black will continue then of course the position with the bad dark square bishop, because it's blocked by its own pawn. So maybe this was sort of a positional idea to simplify the position somehow by Levon Aronian, but it's not possible because Ding simply proceeded with f4. We have knight on e4. It leaves now of course also some spaces behind, so that's why now Levon Aronian has a good square for the knight. But maybe a better idea would have been to go with your other knight here, maybe then to place this knight. This is I think a better way, maybe to play knight on c4. Then you still have the possibility to connect somehow these pieces supported by the pawn. So maybe this would be a better idea, but we have here knight from d to e4, and f3 doesn't bring you so much. It seems like a good move that pushes away the bishop, but now we can play simply bishop on d1, and now the position is blocked here on the king side, which is the most important thing. So white has temporarily at least solved these problems around this king. So that's why forcing an immediate attack is not so good. Keeping the flexibility is, I think, much more important here, which Ding Liren played. He played simply knight on d5, waiting. He really waited a little bit, Levon Aronian to castle. When Levon Aronian castles on one side, then he'll strike his attack. So that's why here we have castling by Levon Aronian, and now you see if this f3 would have been played, it's not such a good attack anymore, because you stopped here. You have really a static position on the king side. Here after Levon Aronian castle on the queen side, we have a very nice move here, a4. If you take with your knight on a4, then of course b5, you have to open the a file. Now we have even b4. This would be very dangerous. So that's why Levon Aronian simply passed through, but now you can guess what Ding Liren did here. He played a very nice sacrifice. Knight takes on b4, we have knight a takes b4, and now a3. Kicking away the bishop has only one square. You don't want to give up now your extra piece, so that's why bishop on a1. But now this knight comes into the game, and in this position black has a completely winning position. But wild stuff will happen in the continuation of the game. Here after knight on b4, we have queen on b1, and now finally this f3. Now this f3 is possible because now after bishop on f1, it's also very important now to block the position on the king side, because we have now sacrificed piece. We want to keep our attack, so that's why we're preventing here some attacking possibilities. But that was only possible after Levon Aronian castled on the queen side. So first keeping the flexibility, because there were also possibilities that Levon Aronian will castle on the king side, so that's why you should wait. And here Ding Liren played a very nice attack, I think. Now rook on a6. Of course, the rook comes now very dangerous into the game. We have the possibilities rook on c6, rook on b6, multiple choices here to attack white king, and now knight on g5. Here a2 was played, but it's maybe too advanced. Maybe you can even take. You can even take, although the queen comes now into the game. And now there is simply one piece down, one defensive piece, and maybe we have some clarifications and for something like e4. We can also maybe try to include a rook here with on the d file, or we can even try rook on b6, which is very dangerous. So there are really now many choices in the game. Ding Liren played first here a2, attacking the king. Queen, pardon me, we have queen on b2, and now rook on b6. Now knight on e6. Knight on d3 doesn't bring you so much. It seems like a good move, but now we have bishop on d3 first. Of course black will take the queen, but that's not the point, because we have bishop on h7. If you go here on h8, if you go on h7, then this comes with an attack. We have first the check. You have to take here with the queen or with the bishop, but now I think we can take here with the king and escape. And if we evaluate the position, now we have two rooks for the queen and an extra piece, so this would be, I think, a winning continuation here for white. And the good thing is that you have this knight as a defensive piece, so that's why I think nothing could have happened. So that's why in this position king on h8 would be the continuation, but again I think we can simply take out this rook, then go back with our bishop, and we have also many defensive pieces around the king. So that's why after knight on e6, here Ding Liren didn't play this knight on d3 idea. He played simply queen on e6 and keeping his attack, which is, I think, a good choice, because now after queen on a3, here rook on d8. And now all of the pieces by Ding Liren are really in attacking formation. There's nothing much to do here for white. Basically, there is one very dangerous line for white here, which white even cannot prevent, I think. Maybe the best way is here to continue with queen on a4, trying maybe to attack somehow the light horse, or trading off some pieces, or I don't know, maybe somehow push here h4 or g5, just in order to bring this rook into the game, because although we are upon a piece up, but this rook hasn't participated in the attack at all. So that's why here queen on a4, maybe just to get another defensive piece, but instead of that, rook on d2 was played by Levon Aronian, and now Ding Liren plays the move c5. And this c5 is the mistake here by Ding Liren, because we have the possibility here to play bishop on f8. And let's see now, if you try here to launch this flank attack with h4, then you get knight on d3. So that's why this bishop on f8 has to come here into the game, because now the bishop is very active. And the problem is, we can always try something like knight on d3 and then rook on b1. Also some discovered attack possibilities. We can even try queen on c3 and then knight on d3, rook on b1, and similar ideas. So that's why bishop on f8 would be really the best move, but instead of bishop on f8 we have c5. And now Levon Aronian has the opportunity to go back into the game, and he used this opportunity. He played knight on e4, because now with these two pawns, The position is a little bit static here. Now after queen on f8, bishop on f8, we have the possibility to maybe go and somehow trade off the queens and similar ideas, or even try to here to play g5 with the preparation to play knight on f6. But if black tries here maybe something like queen on c6 to push pawn here and somehow open the c file or the b file, then queen on b3 I think is playable. Then after something like c4 we can even trade off the queens, and I think this will be a drawish game, because after queen takes we have takes, and now we can take with our knight, which is the most important thing, and now we have the knight as the defender of the b1 square, which is the most important thing. You see the problems now about this b1, and the funny thing is now the evaluation here was about 1 plus 5 for Levon Aronian, and now he makes, after bishop on f8, a mistake. He plays now queen on c3, and now the evaluation is minus 7.5 for black. So now black has again the advantage. So first Ding Liren had the advantage about 3 points, then Levon Aronian blundered, then Ding Liren should have really played this bishop on f8 earlier. Then Ding Liren made a mistake, allowed here the Levon Aronian to go back into the game, but now after queen on c3 again Levon Aronian blunders and gives Ding Liren now the opportunity to finish this game, because now there is this tactical possibility with knight on d5. If you try queen on a3, you see the problem is this move rook on b1, and if you try to escape with your king, here we have knight on b4 again. If you go king on c3, then rook on a8. Very tricky move. Of course, if you take, then you get queen on b3, checkmate. So that's why in the continuation here, queen on c2 was played by Levon Aronian, but now we have rook on b1, queen takes, a takes b1, and the game is basically over. White lost too much material in the game. Knight on b4, but let's see the continuation, g5. So this was a little bit too late. Instead of this moves, Levon Aronian should have proceeded earlier with this g5 and try to do something with this knight, to play maybe knight on f6 and similar ideas. But now queen on b3, this game is really over, because we can cover, but it's not a problem because now this rook comes into the game. Rook on a8, knight on c3, not a problem. e4, opening the d file, very important. We have g6, but now bishop on g7, and now we have d4, c takes d4, e takes d4, and now bishop on d4. Of course, if you take with the rook, then we have a queen on c2, very nice checkmate. But after bishop takes on d4, pardon me, here in this position Levon Aronian resigned. This was really these were really too many blunders by both sides. In the main blunders were here this c5 move. Here before this position, here the evaluation is -3 for Ding Liren, so Ding Liren has the better position. Instead of the best move, bishop on f8, he plays here the move c5, which is incredible, allowing now Levon Aronian to play this tempo, knight on e4. And now after bishop on f8, here Levon Aronian makes the mistake and gives really Ding Liren the opportunity. Maybe a better way would have been here to proceed here with g5 and to play something like knight on f6, because we have to cover here this b1 and not allowing Ding Liren this tempo, which he get after queen on c3. We have knight on d5, you see queen on c2 had to be played, and now after rook on b1, this game was over. Okay, great game. This is, as I said, the rapid format. Many mistakes can happen, even this top grandmaster level. We'll see what will happen in the continuation of the tournament. I think Levon Aronian has a bad situation now. He has lost 2 rapid games, so how Ding Liren is playing, I don't think that Levon Aronian can catch up with him, because Ding Liren is playing really great chess these days. He crushed also Magnus Carlsen in the Blitz games in this previous tournament in India, and I consider Ding Liren to be the next challenger against Magnus Carlsen. But okay, we'll see what happened. Magnus played many draws now against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Still, Maxime is battling also very good against the world champion. So I think this will be a dynamic game, no matter who is going to play in the finals, because everyone can beat everyone in this very nice tournament. But I think we'll have the finals, Ding Liren against Magnus Carlsen, and this will be the clash of the year 2019. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the game. Meanwhile, you can watch my other commented chess games from the series, and you can also watch my best chess games of all time if you want to see the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.